Ladies and gentlemen, listen up because this is your moment. How many times have people doubted you? How many times have they looked at you and said you can't do it? Maybe they laughed. Maybe they told you to be realistic. Maybe they said, just give up, it's not worth it. Rejection is something everyone experiences, but very few truly understand its power. Most people see rejection as a dead end, as proof that they aren't good enough or that their dreams are out of reach. They take a no personally, as if it defines their worth or potential. But the truth is, rejection is not an obstacle, it's a stepping stone. It's fuel. It's the very thing that, when used correctly, can propel you forward faster than anything else. When you hear no, what do? Most people shrink. They second-guess themselves. They start believing the doubts that creep into their minds. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should play it safe. Maybe they're right. But that's where winners separate themselves. The ones who succeed don't hear no and stop. They hear no and take it as a challenge. They use it as energy to push harder, to refine their skills, to improve, and to come back stronger. Look at any person who has ever achieved anything significant. Every single one of them has faced rejection over and over again. Think about the authors who were turned down by dozens of publishers, the entrepreneurs who were laughed out of meetings, the athletes who were told they weren't good enough. What made them different? They didn't take rejection as a final verdict. They took it as feedback. They let it sharpen them, harden them, make them more determined. Rejection isn't personal. It's not a statement of your worth. It's an opportunity. When someone says no, what they're really saying is, not yet, or not in this way. It doesn't mean your idea, your skill, or your potential is invalid. It just means there's something to adjust, something to refine. Maybe the timing isn't right. Maybe you need more preparation. Maybe you haven't found the right audience. But one thing is certain, the only way rejection can truly stop you is if you let it. Think about how rejection forces growth. If everything came easy, if every door opened on the first try, you wouldn't develop the resilience, the hunger, the drive that true success requires. Rejection makes you work harder. It forces you to question what you can do better. It pushes you to get creative, to explore new angles, to refine your approach. And when you finally break through, when that no turns into a yes, it means more because you earned it, you fought for it, you became someone stronger in the process. Rejection is also a filter. It separates those who truly want something from those who just kind of want it. Most people give up after the first few setbacks. They take rejection as a sign that they should quit. But those who persist, who keep going despite the obstacles, prove they have the mindset and the endurance to reach the top. Success isn't about talent alone. It's about the willingness to keep moving forward no matter how many doors close in your face. You have two choices when you face rejection. You can let it defeat you, or you can let it fuel you. You can take it as proof that you should quit, or you can use it as motivation to push even harder. The difference between those who win and those who don't isn't that winners never get rejected, it's that they refuse to let rejection define them. Every setback, every failure, every no is just another step on the way to something greater. Failure is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the world. Most people fear it. They avoid it at all costs. They see it as an indication that they aren't good enough, that they should quit, that their efforts have been wasted. But failure isn't the end of the road. It's not a verdict on your potential. It's a lesson, a teacher that provides the exact information you need to succeed. Every time you fail, you're given a unique opportunity to learn something that success could never teach you. When things go wrong, when you make a mistake, when you miss the mark, that's when you gain the most valuable insights. You start to see where you went wrong. You start to understand what needs to change. And if you're paying attention, failure becomes a roadmap. It shows you the weak spots in your strategy, the areas where you need to grow, the skills you need to sharpen. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who learn from it, adapt, and keep going. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't take their first step and immediately master it. They stumble, they fall, they try again. And each time they get a little stronger, a little more stable, until one day they're running. But imagine if they fell once and decided walking wasn't for them. That sounds ridiculous, right? Yet that's exactly how most people treat failure. They experience a setback and decide they're not meant for success. They assume that one failure means permanent defeat. But the reality is every time you fail, you're one step closer to getting it right. The most successful people in history have failed more times than most people have even tried. They didn't let failure stop them because they understood its role in the process. Thomas Edison conducted over 1,000 failed experiments before he invented the light bulb. Each failure wasn't just a mistake, it was data. It showed him what didn't work so he could get closer to what did. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity before he went on to build an empire. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest athletes of all time. The common thread? They didn't let failure define them, let it shape them. Failure humbles you. It forces you to reevaluate, to think differently, to push harder. It tests how badly you really want something. Most people say they want success, but the moment they hit a roadblock, they give up. They don't want it badly enough. But the ones who keep going, who embrace failure as part of the journey, they are the ones who ultimately reach their goals. Failure is not a sign that you should stop. It's proof that you are in the game, that you are pushing your limits, that you are stretching beyond your comfort zone. There is no growth without failure. If you never fail, it means you're not challenging yourself enough. You're staying in the safe zone, playing it small. But growth happens when you step outside of what's comfortable, when you take risks, when you push past the fear of making mistakes. The truth is, failure is never the real problem. The real problem is how you respond to it. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can use it as an excuse to quit, or you can use it as motivation to improve. The choice is always yours. Doubt is one of the biggest killers of dreams. It doesn't come in the form of a giant roadblock or an obvious enemy. It creeps in slowly, like a whisper in your mind, telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that maybe, just maybe, this isn't for you. And if you listen to it long enough, it becomes the truth you live by. But doubt is a lie. It's not reality. It's simply a test to see how badly you want something. The people who let doubt win never get to see what they are truly capable of, while those who push through it realize that on the other side of doubt is strength, confidence, and success. The world is full of doubters. There will always be people who question you, who tell you that your dreams are impossible, who remind you of the risks, the failures, the challenges ahead. Some of them mean well. They think they are protecting you from disappointment. Others just don't want to see you rise because it reminds them of their own limitations. But regardless of where the doubt comes from, the real battle is within you. The real fight, not against other people's opinions, but against the voice in your own head that tells you to stop. The only way to defeat doubt is to act in spite of it. You can't wait for it to go away. You can't wait until you feel confident, until you feel ready. That moment may never come. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes as a result of action. The more you show up, the more you prove to yourself that you can do hard things, the quieter that voice of doubt becomes. It won't disappear overnight, but every time you take a step forward, every time you refuse to back down, you weaken its grip on you. Resilience is built in these moments of doubt. Every time you choose to keep going, despite the uncertainty, despite the fear, you are strengthening your ability to endure. The greatest people in history weren't fearless. They simply refused to let their doubts dictate their actions. They felt the fear, they heard the doubt, and they moved forward anyway. That's what resilience is, the ability to keep pushing even when your mind is trying to pull you back. Doubt thrives on hesitation. The longer you wait, the stronger it grows. The more you overthink, the more reasons you'll find to hold yourself back. That's why action is the antidote. Even if it's a small step, even if you don't have everything figured out yet, moving forward disrupts the cycle of doubt. It shifts your focus from what could go wrong to what you can actually do. And once you start building momentum, doubt begins to lose its power over you. You've already overcome doubt many times in your life. Think about the challenges you've faced, the obstacles you've pushed through, the moments where you thought you couldn't do something, but you did. Those moments prove that doubt was wrong before, and it will be wrong again. The key is to remember that your actions define you, not your fears. The only way to truly fail is to let doubt stop you from even trying. Hunger is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's the fire inside, the relentless drive that pushes you beyond limits, beyond setbacks, beyond pain. It's the difference between wishing for success and demanding it from yourself. Most people want success, but wanting something isn't enough. Everyone wants to be wealthy, to be in great shape, to have an incredible life, but only a few are willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. That's where hunger comes in. Hunger is the deep, burning desire that refuses to be ignored. It's what makes some people unstoppable while others settle for mediocrity. Hunger is not about convenience. It's not about putting in effort only when it's easy or when things are going well. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when the odds are stacked against you. The truth is, life will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path, distractions, rejections, failures. And if your hunger isn't strong enough, you'll make excuses. You'll justify quitting. You'll convince yourself that maybe it wasn't meant to be. But when you are truly hungry, nothing can stop you. No challenge is big enough. No setback is painful enough to break your spirit. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who are the hungriest. They are the ones who keep pushing when others stop. They are the ones who wake up every day and attack their goals with urgency. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for motivation. They create their own momentum through action. Hunger is what gets you up early and keeps you working late. So it makes you do the extra rep in the gym, read the extra book, make the extra call, push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Hunger destroys complacency. The moment you start feeling comfortable, the moment you stop pushing, you start losing. There's always another level. There's always more to achieve, more to learn, more ways to grow. The greats never stop being hungry. Even when they reach the top, they find new ways to challenge themselves, new goals to conquer. Complacency is the enemy of success. The moment you think you've made it, the moment you stop pushing, you start falling behind. Hunger keeps you sharp. It keeps you driven. It keeps you growing. Hunger is not something you're born with. It's something you develop. It's a mindset. It's a choice. You can choose to be average, to accept the life that's given to you, or you can choose to demand more. You can choose to push, to fight, to go after what you really want. And the best part, the more you feed your hunger, the stronger it gets. The more you push yourself, the more you achieve, the more unstoppable you become. The key is to never let that fire die. Never let comfort replace your ambition. Never let doubt extinguish your drive. The world belongs to those who are the hungriest, the people who refuse to accept no as an answer, the people who take rejection and turn it into motivation, the people who don't wait for permission to chase their dreams. Hunger is what makes the impossible possible. It's what turns struggle into success. It's what turns ordinary people into legends. Success isn't something you announce, it's something you prove. Too many people waste their energy trying to convince others that they're going to make it, that they have big plans, that they're different. But words mean nothing without action. True winners don't need to talk about what they're going to do. They just do it. And when they succeed, the results speak for themselves. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most successful. The ones who truly make an impact are too busy putting in the work to waste time seeking validation. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in appearances. Social media has made it possible to create an illusion of success without actually doing the work. People post their goals, talk about their ambitions, and seek applause before they've even accomplished anything. But success doesn't come from talk, it comes from grinding. It comes from the hours of effort that nobody sees, the sacrifices, the discipline, the commitment to something greater than yourself. The ones who truly succeed don't seek attention, they seek results. There's a reason why the most successful people in any field are often the most disciplined. They understand that success isn't about looking good in the moment, it's about consistently showing up and putting in the effort even when nobody's watching. They don't waste time defending their dreams to doubters. They don't argue with people who don't believe in them. They simply let their work do the talking. When you perform at the highest level, when you achieve real success, There's no need to explain yourself. The results become undeniable. The people who doubt you, who criticize you, who say you won't make it, they're not worth your energy. Let them talk. Let them underestimate you. That's their mistake. The best revenge isn't proving them wrong with words. It's proving them wrong with action. It's outworking them, outlasting them, and achieving what they thought was impossible. And when that moment comes, when your success is right in front of them, there will be nothing left for them to say. Real success is built in silence. It's built in the moments when you're alone, putting in the extra hours, studying, practicing, improving. It's built in the decisions you make every day, the discipline to stay focused when distractions arise, the resilience to keep pushing after failure, the patience to keep going when results don't come immediately. These are the things that separate the winners from everyone else. Success isn't about being flashy, it's about being relentless. The greatest people in any industry didn't spend their time convincing others of their potential. They just put their heads down and worked. They obsessed over their craft. They refined their skills. They pushed themselves to new levels. And eventually their success became so massive, so undeniable, that the world had no choice but to recognize them. That's the key. Stop explaining. Stop seeking validation. Stop worrying about whether others believe in you. Just do the work. Just stay focused. Just keep going. And when the results come, they'll speak louder than any words ever could. Most people go through life in survival mode. They do just enough to get by, just enough to stay comfortable, just enough to avoid failure. But survival isn't the goal, domination is. You weren't put here to simply exist. You weren't meant to play small, to blend in, to accept an average life. The people who achieve the highest levels of success don't just survive. They rise above, they take control, they set the standard, they don't wait for opportunities, they create them. They don't follow trends, they set them. They don't compete, they dominate. The difference between those who merely survive and those who dominate is mindset. Survivors focus on what they need to do to get through the day, to keep things stable, to avoid risk. But those who dominate see every day as an opportunity to level up, to push harder, to improve. They don't settle for good enough. They demand more from themselves, from their work, from their life. They aren't afraid of challenges, they seek them out because they know that growth only happens in discomfort. Domination isn't about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. It's about having complete ownership over your mind, your actions, your habits. It's about refusing to let excuses dictate your future. Too many people let fear stop them, let failure define them, let other people's opinions hold them back. But the ones who dominate take full responsibility for their outcomes. They don't blame circumstances, they don't wait for the perfect conditions, they don't make excuses. They wake up every day and do whatever it takes to get closer to their vision. The world doesn't reward those who sit back and hope for success. It rewards those who step up, take action, and prove they belong at the top. The ones who make history, who change industries, who leave legacies they didn't get there by playing it safe. They took risks. They bet on themselves. They worked when others rested. They learned when others ignored opportunities. They pushed forward when others gave up. And over time, they built unstoppable momentum. To dominate, you must develop an unshakable work ethic. You must be willing to put in more effort, more hours, more energy than anyone else. You must be obsessed with your craft, constantly improving, constantly evolving. The best in the world don't settle. They don't reach a certain level of success and stop. They stay hungry, stay focused, stay driven. They understand that domination isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. It's a relentless pursuit of greatness, a commitment to never letting up, never slowing down, never becoming complacent. Most people will never experience what it feels like to truly dominate because they are too afraid to step outside of what's comfortable. They fear judgment, they fear failure, they fear uncertainty. But the ones who rise above, who take control, who refuse to accept anything less than excellence, those are the ones who leave a mark. Those are the ones who create something bigger than themselves. Those are the ones who don't just survive in this world, they own it. They tried to stop you, they doubted you, they underestimated you, they threw obstacles in your path, but here you are still standing, still pushing, still rising. Why? Because failure wasn't the end for you. It was the lesson that made you stronger. Doubt didn't break you, it fueled your determination. Your hunger was greater than their skepticism, and your actions spoke louder than their words. You refused to just survive, you chose to dominate. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's the mindset to keep going when others quit. It's the discipline to put in the work when nobody's watching. It's the relentless belief that no challenge, no setback, no critic has the power to define you. They tried to stop you, but they failed because they didn't understand one thing: you were never waiting for their approval. You were never seeking their permission. You were always going to make it, not because it was easy, but because you refused to accept anything less. So now the choice is yours. Will you let the voices of doubt dictate your future? Will you let fear hold you back? Or will you take control, step up, and show the world exactly who you are? They tried to stop you, but they didn't realize nothing can stop someone who refuses to quit.